Hello, welcome back to another episode of Unknown and Talented. My name is Jelan Abrams, and I'm getting old. I'm definitely getting old, and I wouldn't say I'm getting old because of me. It's because of my niece and nephew. My niece just turned 2, and my nephew is turning 6. And that's kind of crazy, just to think about. I remember the day he was born. I was going to the gym. My sister called me and was just like, yo, I think I'm having having a baby now. And I'm like, all right, let's leave the gym and make sure everything's okay. And he came, and just watching him growing up from the baby Google Gaga to stumbling when he's walking to now about to be 6. And it's just crazy seeing that growth, man. It's just crazy. And I'm just thinking back on like so many things that he does now that it's super easy, but for him it's a struggle. He's reading now. He's trying to spell out words, sound out words. It's so many different things that he's doing, and it just takes me back to like going to the park with him. We pretty much, for me, I'm super active. I'm super into fitness, so I try to make sure he gets into that stuff as well. So I remember one day I took him to the park, and pretty much he saw some kids. He said, I want to play with the kids. I said, okay, go over there and play with them. And he was like, I'm scared. And I'm like, I'm scared? Okay, well, just talk him, like it's nothing to be scared of. Go over there. Hi, my name is Lucas, and you want to play. And then he went over there. Hi, my name is Lucas, and you pretty much play with the kids. And everything was fine until, it's time to go. Bye. Nice meeting you. And he's yelling bye when we were running off to the car and stuff. And it wasn't really a big deal. And then, I just think back of when I was a child, pretty much what you hear is don't talk to strangers. Like that was the main thing. Before we leave the house, don't talk to strangers. And it's just crazy to get to that point of, don't talk to strangers. And then you think in your life, like your best friend right now was at one point a stranger, you didn't know who they are. And without that initial introduction of you or them introducing themselves to one another, you wouldn't even have that relationship. So thinking about my nephew, 6 years old, afraid to talk to this person, to play with them, we're only people at the park. Just think about that. I think about how many adults are still afraid to approach someone when they have something that they want. I think of the first thing, the easiest one to think of is just relationship wise. You see an attractive woman, you see an attractive man, you don't want to go over there because you're afraid. You think of someone is recording. Let's say I'm out in the park with a camera, I'm recording. I want to know what they do. I'm interested in that. And you're scared to do that. You see someone wearing an outfit that you like, or you see someone doing a job that you have that you want to do, and you're kind of just afraid to make that initial approach. And it's not a really big deal. I don't really know what the fear is, but at the end of the day, it's really not a big deal. They're a person just like you. Go up to them and you'll be able to build that relationship. I just think about, your friend group. For the most part, a lot of times people will have friends from high school, friends from college, friends from work, because you're stuck in that bubble. You're stuck in that classroom where you're going to see this person every single day. At work, you're seeing these people every single day. So of course, after a while, you're going to find things that you have in common, end up becoming friends, and that's your comfort zone. You're comfortable finding these friends in these places where you're legit forced to go, instead of thinking of going outside that friend group, because you got to think about the people that you're forced with might not have the same interest that you have. I think about myself, for example. I'm not a music producer anymore, but I was a music producer. None of my friends were into it. I had a couple of friends that actually rapped, but nobody was into it. So I didn't have anybody with me that were doing the same things that I did. And then now as a content creator, I don't really have no one that does content like I do. I post on Instagram, post on TikTok, have a YouTube channel. So I don't have anybody that's in my circle or as those friends that are legit given to you that do the same things that I do. So the more we grow into the people that we are bound to become, we're going to kind of outgrow those high school friends, those college friends, or those random work friends that we just pretty much get by default. So pretty much to continuously grow into that career or grow into what you want to actually do, you're going to have to network. Actually, I want to get the definition for you. So networking, the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. So basically you're communicating with these people that are in the field that you want to get into, let's say work-wise or entrepreneurship-wise. You see them, they see you. You want to kind of bounce ideas off. You want to say, okay, they like, let's say photography, for example. You're good at photography. You find somebody outside of that friend group that does photography that's probably a little farther along than you. You communicate with them, you exchange numbers. Now you can bounce ideas. Now you have somebody that can help you grow to that next level, because the group you have is not really into that, and what people do is they make the mistake of trying to bring their friend groups or the people that's more comfortable to talk to into that space that they want to do, and try to bring them along to something where they really didn't fit to begin with. So a story I think of is the eagle and the crow. Basically, the crow is on the eagle's back. Instead of fighting that crow off, the eagle just flies up higher, goes higher, to at the point where the crow has to jump off the eagle's back. So the higher the altitude, the crow can't breathe. So the more you raise up, you grow into that profession you want, the people in your life, everybody's not going to be able to be at that high altitude with you. So you're trying to take them from where they're at to somewhere they're never supposed to be anyway. It's just not going to work. And it's going to be more difficult for you to try to carry a crow to high altitude. They can't breathe. They're going to die. That's not going to happen with your friends, but at the end of the day, they're going to die trying to get to the altitude to try to stay with you. So don't do that. And don't even do that to your friends, because that's not fair. That's not fair to them to try to stay with you where they were never supposed to be there from the get-go. So what you want to do is you want to network. You want to bounce those ideas off of these people that are actually in your craft, because that's going to help you grow. And while you do this networking, you want to make sure you find people that are also better than you. You don't want to just find a bunch of, I'm going to say it. You don't want to find just a bunch of bums. We think, going back to this photography example, you nice with the camera. You can do this, you can do that, you can do that. Don't just find people with the little the disposable camera and try to bounce ideas off of them when you got the digital camera you didn't spend $600 on. You have to make sure you are with people that are actually better than you so you can actually learn. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You don't want to be everybody's looking at you for advice, because you can't grow. How are you going to grow when you know more than everybody in the room? You can't grow. You got to get out your comfort zone, put your big boy pants on, big girl pants on, contact these people that are not super and far ahead of you, because you really, you want to be able to give to them as well. So somebody that's pretty much well established and they got everything together, you can try to contact them, see if you can get like a mentorship kind of thing. But I would say more people that are on your level or higher than your level, because you can bounce off ideas with them, and then the more they grow, the more you grow. You can kind of grow together. So how do you network? How do I find these connects? The easiest thing we have is social media. That's probably the easiest. If you're an introvert, you want to stay in the house, that's the easiest way. We have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have, I don't know if people use Facebook anymore. I don't use it. You have TikTok, and they have people that do a bunch of things on there. For me, it's content creation. So if you're not into that, you can kind of find your niche. You probably know where to go to find inspiration. Those are the people you're going to ask. Wherever you look for to find inspiration to do what you do, that's where you're going to find those people to network with. And I think that's probably the easiest thing to do. For me, I see somebody that I think is impressive, I don't mind showing love. I'm going to leave a comment. Yo, this is fire, blah, 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 blah. I might throw something in messages. It just really depends on how I feel. But, you just praise the person, and, they contact you back and they see your stuff. That kind of have that conversation that way. Or another way to do it is show them a way that you can help them out, and then they're going to be appreciative of that. And now you build that relationship that way. don't think of, what can they do for me? Because nobody's going to come in and say, I want to be cool with you. I want to have this conversation with you. And you're legit coming off the gate asking me for favors. That's not how it works. I'm just going to ignore you. And, that's how it goes. But one of the things I want to say, though, is if you do meet these person on social media, follow them. Don't be like, I'm trying to keep my numbers down, message this person without following them. Don't be like that. Don't be the petty person. Follow them and then message them. So, even if they don't follow you back, you still follow them. You can unfollow them at the end of the day. It's so many people that ask me for favors, especially to get on the podcast, and they don't even follow me. And I'm just like, are you just looking up the podcast hashtag and just messaging anybody with a podcast? I'm not following you. Some person said, oh man, I love your stuff. Just let's build. Build what? Build what? What are we building? What are we building? Build what? You haven't even listened to my podcast. You just see the podcast and you tell them, let's build. Like, I'm not responding to that. And it could be, they could legit have listened to the podcast and they legit really said, let's build. But you got to come at somebody better than that. I'm not responding to let's build or can I be on your show? Like, say something. Like, you need to be a legit paragraph. I contacted somebody one time with a podcast. I listened to their podcast. I messaged them a paragraph and I put in details of that podcast in that paragraph. Now they know, oh my gosh, he listens to it. He found similarities to it. I didn't even tell the person I had a podcast. I just legit wrote down the stuff that I like. Now they went to my page and like, oh, he has a podcast. Oh, this could be somebody I could communicate with. And it's just like that. Don't come in, I need you to help me. Like, come on now. Like, are you really gonna help that person? No. So don't do that. Think of the person as you, communicate with them, and build from there. Another way you can network is if they have events in your area. You are, let's say for example, you're a poet. They got a spoken word thing going on. Go to it. Get out the house. Like, get over social media, get out the house. It's somebody in your area to network with is so much better than networking online. Online, these people could live in California. They could live in Ohio. They could live in Canada. Yeah, if that's the only people you have, network with them makes sense. But having somebody that you could actually sit down, have lunch with, and network that way is so much better. So if you're a poet, you see spoken word, go to it. See if you can meet somebody. I do this, bounce ideas off, just like that. You want to be a fitness instructor, go to different gyms. You don't have to be a member. There's legit $10. Go to different gyms, have conversations. People don't mind talking. Some people are rude and they don't want to, but for the most part, people don't mind talking. Go to the different parks to work out. I go all over the place. There was this event where I forgot what it's called, so I can't shout them out, but it's legit. It's a black company, and they were pretty much running miles. And every Sunday, Tuesday, and Saturdays, they did miles. I only went one day, but I was able to communicate with people. I didn't exchange any numbers because I wasn't on that at that time, but they have different events where the things that you want, they have in your city. Just look it up. You're going to have to search and go to them. If you want to network, you want to get better at what you do, you need somebody that does something similar to you, and y'all can bounce ideas off and help you grow. And lastly, when you do finally get that person that you want to build with, stay in contact with them. Don't, like I said, they're not technically a friend if you don't want to call them your friend. But at the end of the day, they are a friend. They're going to be a friend. They're going to be somebody that you're contacting more than once. Communicate with them. You don't only have to talk about what you're doing. Let's just say, back to photography, for example. You don't have to just talk about photography every day. How you doing? How you feeling today? How's work going? You're working out, or what TV shows you watching. They're a person. At the end of the day, they're a person. You can have conversation outside of having business conversation, but you have to continue that relationship just like it's a friend. You have to contact them, make sure they're good. Don't always have to be about this. How's their mental health? If you want to get into that, you don't have to, but I wouldn't mind talking about people, making sure they're good outside of, this contact thing, and, just build that relationship that way. In conclusion, don't talk to strangers. If you don't want to grow your business, if you don't want to grow in your entrepreneurial journey, if you don't want to grow in your content creation journey, don't talk to strangers. Stay in your box. Just know that it's going to be very hard to grow. It's going to be very hard to improve without having somebody in your corner that, doing something similar to what you're doing. It's going to be very hard because it's no man's an island. No man can do everything by himself. So you're going to need somebody in your corner. So, but if you don't want any of that, don't talk to strangers like your mom said, like your dad said, like your grandparents said. Stay in that box and good luck. But at the end of the day, my name is Jelan Abrams. I do talk to strangers. I do it in a safe way. I'm not going to talk to a gang of men on the street. And honestly, if I see a gang of women on the street, that's the kind of party I don't want to be a part of. But, just be safe out there. I'm not, like I said, don't be crazy. Don't just talk to random people. That's not what I'm telling you. You're going to find those people that you want to network with, you want to grow, that's doing something similar to what you're doing to help get you to the next level. Be that eagle, soar, go high. I'm not an Eagles fan, go Giants. But in this situation, be that eagle, soar high, leave them crows behind, and do what you got to do. My name is Jelan Abrams. This is Unknown and Talented, and we will talk to you next week. We out.